For me, it was just like, I want to grow and I want to focus on my personal growth. Can I learn from people who are better than me? So I want to start talking to them. That's what podcast. So instead of reading books, I just took that, like, okay, let's say in a day, if I'm reading 5 hours of books, I cut that down to 2, and the rest 3 hours I do podcast. So for me, from day one, it was just like, oh, I'm doing this as a lifestyle. This is my life. It's not about I'm gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it. Nothing, never. I've never doubted myself whether it will become good thing, big thing, nothing. We were very sure from day one, the day we started, we'll be India #1, because we know that we're going to be very sure of just learning. I was in Indore, I'm born and brought up there. Till 16, I was a pretty useless, lazy kid, grown up in a middle class family. And I saw my father struggling with finances a bit. Not like we didn't have money to eat, but it was like, I knew that if my father stops earning, my family will not be able to do well. So that time I realized, oh, you know what? I need to game up. I need to do something, and I need to start learning. I need to maybe do an internship, get a job, or maybe join my father's business, or do something about it. And that was the first realization. So I started learning a lot about business, started doing a couple of things, and then started a business with my dad. Built that for 7-8 years. And then after that, we had a fallout. And between me and my dad, just for 2 months, we were just, hey, you this, you that, all of this. We were just fighting typical dad and kid fights. And that time I decided I'll start something on my own.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start, and my firm belief is that personal brands are going to become really, really big. So entrepreneurs should build brands.
This was when?
This was COVID.
Okay.
This was 2020.
Yeah.
And I started calling people that I'm going to handle your accounts. And people said, hey, you don't have a brand. How can you tell that you'll build our distribution? So I was like, okay, let me do one thing. I'll build my own personal brand. So I started doing that. And then for 6 months, I only did Instagram and tried to just grow my account, where I was just telling business news, business conversations, motivation, all the stuff that I do. So I started reading Forbes a lot. I started reading a lot of business books a lot. So unse, whatever I would study and read from that, I would just put that up on my Instagram. And then my Instagram blew up. And then I decided, hey, you know what? I love learning. I am growing. And I see that tomorrow I might get an opportunity because of this distribution. So let me focus on my personal growth more and let me start a podcast. And that's how the podcast started, because I just wanted to grow more. My first 50 podcasts were just audio. And I used to upload it through Buzzsprout and then upload on multiple platforms, right? Then I started doing video, and video was on Zoom call.
Yeah.
He was the first guy I did with Sandeep Das, then Gaurav Ritu, like bunch of people together. And nobody knew them, nobody knew me. I did it. I think after my first 100 episodes, I got, on one of the episodes, I got like 10,000 views. And that was like big thing. Then I kept doing, then 10,000 became 50,000, then 100,000. Then it got to 500K, then it got to million. So it just, there was never a point where I got like, oh, one podcast made my life. Never. So I'll give you an example, okay? My recent podcast, one of the podcasts which went like 25-30 million views. Last year, we had a podcast which went 22 million views. It's not like, oh, this is for the first time it's happening. Before that, we had a podcast which went 15 million views. Before that, we had a podcast which went 10 million views. So it has always just grown step by. I believe cringing on yourself is a part of growing. If you're not actually cringing on yourself every month or every year, you're not growing. So I look at my previous interviews, previous videos, last year's stuff. I cringe on myself very hard. I don't want to hear myself. I don't want to look at myself. Now, some random fan page will upload some reel from 5 years ago or like 4 years ago. And I'm like, shit, why did they do this?
What was I talking about?
What was I talking? How was I looking? What was my hair? How was I speaking? Bunch of stuff which I never cared about. Now it gives me an ick. I believe you should not get over the self-ick. I think every month, your previous version of yourself should give you an ick and should actually make you cringe about yourself. Or else, what's the point?
So you keep getting better and better and better.
If you're not actually getting an ick, it means you're not growing. It means you've gotten comfortable in the same version of yourself, which is so bad. It's worse than not getting it. Like, not getting an ick is worse than getting an ick. I believe that everybody should write down, every creator, every public figure should write down values, what they have, and just stand for them. You talk to any team member or talk to me, even if it's sleep, we focus on value, not views. We focus on teaching, not on trends. We focus on sense, not on sensationalism. This is our core. There have been people on my podcast who have given us such sensationalizing stuff, insane stuff. And those gossips or little things will work for me.
Yeah.
I just cut it out because it doesn't make sense and there's no learning or teaching out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to do that. So probably that's the reason that we're stuck like that. And we don't care about views. That's why we probably, maybe there are things which are coming in the future which might cancel us. Maybe there are things which people will notice after a few years about my past and they're like, oh, we should have cancelled. I don't know. People are so fickle. Till now, I think the value system has worked for us. In America, which is a much bigger podcasting market than us, there are podcasts which are making $1 million a month. They talk only about gardening. Do you think India has any gardening podcast?
No, we don't.
And there are enough people right now who really care about home gardens and plants. You can make something out of it. There's no tourism podcast right now. There's no automobile podcast right now. There's no specific fashion podcast right now. There are so many stuff which I genuinely believe there needs to be. For me, podcast, if you look at for education, every subject can have a deeper podcast. Psychology, psychiatry, math, science, history, everything can have it. And then at the same time, every entertainment segment of your life can also have a podcast. There can be just a gossip podcast, just sex podcast, just a fashion podcast, just Bollywood podcast, just a bunch of stuff. I am not here to take side of left or right. I'm here to just do me. My ideology is curiosity. I want to be curious. I don't want to do anything else. I think there are enough platforms who tell you what to think. I want to create a space where I teach people how to think. And that's my job. I want to make sure that people learn how to think. And it's up to them whether they want to choose A side, B side, C side.
How would you make yourself relevant if there was no podcasting in YouTube?
I don't think podcasting is about, or relevance is about a platform. I think relevance is about putting your intentions out and expressing what you really feel and what you want to learn and teach. That's it. If there was no podcast, I would have written it. I would have written papers, books. If there was nothing like that, I would have hosted small conferences. If there was nothing like that, I would have just shared it with 5 of my friends. India just don't want to know success story.
Okay.
They want to know why, what, how, and the tools which it took for somebody to become successful. That's one thing that India wants. So everybody needs to now shape their storytelling in that way.
Okay.
You need to tell them why did you do this? What did you do? How did you do it? What tools did you use? Who are the people who helped you? So that you need to figure out. So that's first. Second is, I don't think India is risk averse. Everybody talks about this. Oh, India is very risk averse. India is very safe. India is doing, we don't think big, all of that. I don't think that. And third, which is most important thing which I'm seeing, and that's my personal biased view, I don't think India now, the biggest export in India is not IT. The biggest export in India is ambition. From the smallest of the smallest town to the biggest of the biggest boardrooms to people living in abroad who are Indians, we've all become ambitious. So I think ambition now is the new thing that we're exporting the highest in the world.